What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, a lot of people hit me up, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the usual comments, and they're talking about this article. I guess Dan Rayfield wrote an article that said that in the preliminary negotiations between Golden Boy and Tom Loeffler of K2, who represents Gennady, not for future, Golovkin, that Golden Boy offered him at least $15 million. That's coming from Dan Rayfield of ESPN, or Raphael, however you say his name. And a lot of people are, off of that one stanza, that one sentence, a lot of people are like, oh, what's your thoughts on it? And I'm going to do my best to give you guys the Boxing Ego thoughts. Me, first of all, I don't really give a shit how much anybody gets, because I don't see a penny of that. I don't see one red cent. So to me, it doesn't really matter how much he gets. I know it's more than most people will see in a lifetime. You know what I mean? If it's 10 million or 12, 15 million, you know what I'm saying? So it's a whole heap of money. It's a lot of money regardless, right? I respect fighters that lace them up and they're putting their life on the line. We've seen some people fall victim to this sport. Either they're vegetables now, they are traumatized for life because they were in comas and can't compete anymore. Some people have died from it. It's a brutal sport. I get it. But I truly, I'm not just saying, I'm not playing the fence. I have so many mixed feelings about Canelo versus Triple G, because you got to take it on a case-by-case basis. There are some things that have happened where I side with Team Canelo's side. They bring up a strong point. And there's some things with the Golovkin side where they bring up strong points with Canelo. It is that type of situation. So it really depends. And it's hard to gauge and say how much somebody is worth per se. You know what I mean? Like Danny Jacobs versus Golovkin. The negotiations for December 10th, they took too long. And it looked like it was going to purse bid and they couldn't work it out. But the negotiations stalled. And obviously Danny Jacobs got what he wanted, because he is fighting Golovkin in March. The fight is going down, Madison Square Garden, in March, and it's a thing. So you know what I'm saying? Sometimes these negotiating tactics will pay off. But this is why it's a gray area. We already know what Canelo did in terms of dropping the belt, saying, "Oh, I'm Mexican, we don't fuck around," or "cut the bullshit," or "the game," whatever he said. Bottom line, he says, I don't want this belt anymore. I'm not going to be held to these artificial deadlines. And he gave up the belt and basically put it in Golovkin's hands. That's the way that went. So Golovkin now has the belt. We still want to see the fight. Golden Boy is promising us the fight. Oscar's on First Take and saying, oh yeah, it will happen. It will happen. Golovkin just has to sign. $15 million is a good amount of money. I do believe that. There's also a percentage. I don't know the number because these are their negotiations. I don't know the number. But Oscar said he offered something like a wealthy offer, a healthy offer that he can stand by, that is more than fair. And you look at it, $15 million plus some percentage of the pay-per-view proceeds, that doesn't sound half bad. Because at the end of the day, we don't even know if pay-per-view and the pay-per-view model is dead at this point. We truly don't know that, because I challenge you, obviously barring Mayweather-Pacquiao, name the last fight that did well over, like, oh, not even well over 1 million pay-per-view buys. It wasn't Pacquiao-Bradley 3. It wasn't any of Canelo's fights except for Canelo and Floyd Mayweather. Right? Mayweather-Maidana 1 and 2 did under 1 million. Canelo and Kirkland, Angulo, Lara, Khan, all them fights were well under 1 million. The closest was Cotto versus Canelo, which did, let's say, 925,000 pay-per-view buys. So realistically, with K2, I don't know how much money they would get on the back end. I don't know exactly all the details, but I don't know how much money is, because I don't know how much it would sell. Because the last time we were seeing like 1.4s, or like some old Pacquiao fights, or Mayweather Cotto, Mayweather Hatton, Shane Mosley, those were doing like 1.4, 1.5 ish. You know what I mean? Mayweather Canelo was obviously a big fight. So I don't know. It's all a shot in the dark. We don't know until it actually happens, because the Ward Kovalev fight did terrible in terms of numbers. It was a good fight. Had controversy and everything you wanted in a fight. Excellent fight. But the numbers didn't do, you know what I mean? Most people thought it would do like at least like 500,000, and it didn't, you know what I mean? It did well under that. And that was the biggest, most meaningful fight. So this could backfire for Golden Boy and K2, because they're stringing it on, and people like, when it actually does happen, they might be like, man, I'm streaming this. You know what I mean? Because we want to see it now. And worst thing you can do in boxing is wait. Because here's another example. I don't know if this was pay-per-view, but a fight I really wanted to see, maybe just a few years back, Mikey Garcia, undefeated, versus an undefeated Olympic gold medalist named Yuriorkis Gamboa of Cuba. I really wanted to see it. It looked like it was getting close, because there was people who had been talking about it, and then Gamboa and 50 Cent, something special, man. Sorry. He got in the ring after a Mikey Garcia performance, and they were right next to each other. So I was like, oh shit, it's about to go down. They're really, you know what I mean? They're going to negotiate now. Gamboa really wanted to fight, and then it didn't happen. Mikey Garcia got put on the shelf, legal trouble, and the rest is history. He was out for 2 years. Meanwhile, Gamboa went on with his career, fought another undefeated talent in Terrence Crawford, did good for the first 5-6 rounds, and then ended up getting caught and knocked down 4 times, and then knocked out ultimately by Terrence Crawford, who rehydrated pretty good in that fight. He was like 155. See how I know my boxing off the top of my head? But Crawford stopped him. Now that fight, it doesn't even matter now, because Gamboa has been pretty absent. He probably fought, since the Crawford fight, probably fought like a handful of times, once, twice. I don't even know. I guess he was supposed to fight someone recently, and the dudes on Narcos or something got arrested for drugs, or I don't know. I don't even know what happened, but some guy got arrested at the Motel 8 for slanging or something. So my point being is, don't wait. Now the Gamboa Mikey Garcia fight, I will watch it, but it's definitely not the same luster as if it would have happened when it was supposed to happen, like right after Gamboa got in that ring. You know what I mean? So that could be the case for Canelo versus Triple G. As far as Triple G, Canelo's clearly the A side. There's no doubting it. I don't care if he's not born ready. You can say whatever you want about Canelo. He does better numbers, and just his fight with Floyd alone is a higher merit than anything on Golovkin's career. For whatever reason, you can say people are ducking Golovkin. I don't care. The end result is still the same. Canelo, if you look at his portfolio or his resume, let's say this is a job interview and an application, you could say, okay, Canelo fought this person, and he did this live gate with Floyd Mayweather, and 2.2 million pay-per-view buys with Floyd. He took part in that. That's already in the history books. So he has that under his belt. He's fought top competition. Floyd Mayweather, Erislandy Lara, Angulo's a solid name. You know what I mean? He fought James Kirkland. He's fought the solid names. Shane Mosley's a Hall of Famer, right? You can say he was past, whatever. He still fought those people. Triple G doesn't have those names on his resume. He doesn't have that level of opposition for whatever reason. You could say they ducked him, but the point being, it is what it is. And when Floyd and Canelo fought, Floyd got, I think, 32 million guaranteed or 50 million, something crazy, plus some pay-per-view proceed. Canelo got a good distribution deal with the distribution in Mexico, so that he was able to get a lot of back-end money. But I believe his flat rate, his guaranteed amount, was only like $5 million, right? So they're offering Triple G, from what Dan Rayfield is saying, and I mean, he's an insider. He talks to these people. So they're offering him an additional 10 million from what Canelo got versus Floyd Mayweather. I don't think, you know what I mean? In all honesty, I don't really see Canelo Triple G being bigger than that because of the time, in terms of streaming, stuff like that. And you look at it, whether you like it or not, Floyd can sell a fight. Easy work. He easy as work. He was like, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, I'm gonna beat his ass. He was talking hella shit. He would call, yeah, the Notre Dame mascot, you know, he magically delicious, Lucky Charms. He was Chucky doll. Floyd was talking hella shit, and you know what I mean, and really building up the fight. Plus, people paid to see Floyd lose. People didn't want to see him. Plus, Floyd has fans, and Canelo has a country behind him, and he has fans. So you had two undefeated fighters One older, but very skilled and experienced, that some people want to see lose, and this rising star who had a whole country behind him, and that was Canelo Alvarez, who had put up some good performances against the people he fought, the Josito Lopez's and Matthew Hatton, Ryan Rhodes, and Shane Mosley, knocked out Balderman. He had beat those people, Alfonso Gomez, and people were like, oh, he's pretty good. He's pretty destructive, and he's young. So just that alone, 2 undefeated fighters, was a certain level of intrigue. Canelo Triple G, don't get it twisted. It's a great fight. Kovalev said he was there. He said he was training in Big Bear with Abel Sanchez at the time. He said he's seen him. He watched him scrap and sparring, and both fighters held their own. So it's a good scrap. But this is the thing. Canelo's no longer undefeated. Arguably, he should have 2 losses, depending on how you personally view the Erislandy Lara fight, right? So that being said, the Triple G fight and Canelo, I don't think can ever surpass Canelo versus Mayweather because of the timing, and you had a different equation with Mayweather Canelo, 2 undefeated guys. We didn't know Canelo's vulnerabilities because he had beat everyone, and he was coming off the Austin Trout win, right? And then you had the variable, people like paying to see Floyd lose. Will Father Time do Floyd like Bernard Hopkins just recently got done and knocked out the ring and stuff? You know what I mean? It's just a different variable. With the Canelo Triple G fight, although it's a very good fight, it's a competitive fight, it's a 50-50 fight or whatever, Canelo's no longer undefeated. We've seen Canelo's vulnerability, so the buy-in, I just can't see it. If Canelo was still undefeated and Triple G was undefeated, maybe. But I think where Canelo was, even at that point when he fought Floyd, and where Floyd was, the star power was greater than where Triple G is in his current career. He's popular, but I don't think he's Canelo at age 23 popular, right? I still don't think he's as popular as Canelo in its entirety. Canelo, you got to keep it in mind, he just did crazy numbers versus Liam Smith. Like in Mexico, I don't even remember the number, but it was like 10 million people watched the Liam Smith fight, and that was a fight nobody wanted to see. He had 50 to 51,000 people in Texas show up. Whether they gave a few free tickets, they did not give 51,000 free tickets. And even if they did give a bunch of tickets, people still have to want to see the event to even go. You know what I mean? Because if it was something like, I'm not even trying to clown. I'm not going to use nobody's name. But if there was another fighter and it was like a bullshit fight that nobody wanted to see, like no one really wanted to see Canelo, Liam Smith, and they didn't have the star power, like let's say a washed up fighter, 51,000 people would not show up no matter what. You know what I'm saying? If it was like some Butterbean versus so-and-so. So $15 million sounding kind of appetizing. But I mean, on the flip side, the team Golovkin, they don't want to get shortchanged, and this fight does these crazy live gates and better than we expect, and then they're stuck at this certain amount, like, oh, we got 15 mil with a real small percentage, so they want a percentage split. So it's really how you view it. But $15 million sounds like a good amount of money. That's more than Andre Ward and Kovalev got, a lot more in their fight. You know what I mean? I think Dre got 5 million and Kovalev maybe got like 2. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It really depends on something that's intangible, and we don't really know. We don't know how good Canelo Triple G live gate and all that would be, how much of an interest. Because to be honest, with what I've seen from boxing recently, they haven't even been promoting some of these major fights how I think they should. Like Mayweather Pacquiao, I thought the promotion was not that good. They didn't even have like I think the networks for Mayweather Pacquiao should have joined forces and put together a special like 24/7 with both fighters filming new footage on it, but they didn't really do it. Showtime kind of did their own Floyd special, HBO did their own special. It was closed off to the public for the press conference, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And even the Ward Kovalev fight, I thought the promotion could have been a little bit better. They could have done a little bit more to hype up the fight. Cotto, Canelo, all these fights, all these major fights. I would say the UK is probably doing better with maximizing the potential of these major fights, like for the real big matches that people want to see, that are pay-per-view and stuff. Well, that's just my opinion. So it's it's hard to tell because, like I said, there's things that Canelo's team I think are doing wrong to manage his career, and then there's certain things with Triple G. It's like Triple G, you want the name, you want the Alvarez name on your resume. You're confident you could beat him. 15 mil plus some back end money doesn't sound too bad. That's more. You got 5 million versus Kell Brook. That's more than you'll make with anybody, Danny Jacobs or anybody at the middleweight division, the current division. I don't see him making that type of pretty penny. Canelo is the A side. He's the bigger star. He has the bigger accolades. He has, I would say, the bigger fan base. Golovkin is popular and he's known, but he's not Canelo known because Canelo is still linked with Mayweather based on them fighting. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So $15 million, that I do think, like just kind of hearing myself talking, thinking about it, it does sound like a reasonable offer. I don't think, like at first I was thinking Oscar was going to offer him something crazy that they knew he would turn down. But $15 million at the full 160, that don't sound half bad. That really doesn't to me. That doesn't sound, for this level of fight, that doesn't sound half bad. Now, I understand Triple G's team earlier when Canelo's team was like, oh, we're not ready to move up. We'll fight him at 155. I mean, I understand him maybe not wanting to go to 155, but then again, you have to blame Triple G's team for saying, hey, we'll fight anyone from 54 to 68. And even recently saying they'll fight Pacquiao at 55. They'll fight Mayweather at 55. But you don't want to fight Canelo at 55. So it's really a lot of hypocrisy. And it's just, I guess at the end of the day, a matter of opinion and who you want to side with. I don't know all the details, but from what Dan Rayfield is reporting, $15 million doesn't sound bad for this level of fight. I don't know how much Canelo would be getting, but I'm sure if they did even make this fight, there would probably be a rematch clause. So there would probably be more money on the back end. And for Golovkin, he's fighting Danny Jacobs, which to me, they're the number 1 and 2 fighters at middleweight. So that's a good name on his resume. But to get to superstardom, because to me, Danny Jacobs has been stopped before. Canelo's never been stopped. Danny Jacobs, he even said himself recently, he doesn't understand why he's not more popular. So it's a great, if you know boxing, it's a great fight. It's a meaningful fight. It's a fight where the winner definitely deserves credit. But to transcend just boxing and get like George Lopez show and Entertainment Tonight interested, like other people that don't regularly cover boxing, like more so casuals, Danny Jacobs, I don't think would propel Triple G to stardom. The real boxing people and authorities on boxing and real boxing fans will give Triple G credit for beating Danny Jacobs. But you beat Canelo, that takes you to a whole nother level. So maybe you have to sacrifice something. And that's kind of what it is to me for Team Triple G. How bad do you want to get to that next level? Because if you take $15 million, which is not really getting shortchanged for this level of fight to me, because I don't even know how well it will do. No one really knows until it happens. But will it do? Because there's a lot of fight. Oscar said Cotto Canelo was going to do 2 million plus or 3 million, and it did less than 1 million. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of fights that we think will do better. Nobody knew that Triple G versus Lemieux would only do 96 to 150,000. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know how much the Canelo fight will make. So they'll end up being in the hole if they put up too much money. Well, I guess you wouldn't, because it's a percentage split and you would just split from that. But hey, I mean, your percentage split, you might even get less than that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It just, to me, it kind of depends on Triple G's team. How bad do they want to get to the next level? You know what I mean? Danny Jacobs is a start, but I don't think he alone. You look through boxing history. I'm gonna give you guys a quick history lesson and then cut this video off. Quick history lesson. The people who became boxing cash cows, they beat somebody, right? They did certain feats that took them to the next level, right? All of them. Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman. Foreman was denting heavy bags. That was a highly publicized fight. To get to the next level of iconic superstardom, he had to go through the Foreman. You know what I mean? That was the rising person that people thought Ali couldn't beat. Mike Tyson, he was like 20 years old or whatever. He beat a champion and became the youngest champion of the world. Oscar de la Hoya, he beat a legend who was the previous cash cow, and that's Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Floyd Mayweather beat Oscar De La Hoya and has been on and popping ever since, right? So to me, Triple G has to get that type of person. And in today's boxing, it's either Floyd, Pacquiao, or a Canelo. Those are the biggest names, you know what I'm saying? And the biggest people. And again, Canelo's never been stopped. So you stop him, you are forced to be reckoned with. So let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. That's my thoughts. 15 million doesn't sound half bad. And I think, I mean, all roads lead to Canelo to get Golovkin to superstar status. I mean, he's popular and things like that. So you let me know if $15 million is enough to you, or should he be pushing for the percentage split? Let me know. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.